There is a lie currently being sold to the sporting world. It is a beautiful lie. It is wrapped in Hollywood charisma, packaged by Disney Plus, and consumed by millions of sentimental Americans. The lie is that Wrexham Association Football Club is a fairy tale. It is the story of two underdog actors saving a dying community club out of the kindness of their hearts, restoring pride to a forgotten Welsh mining town. If you believe that story, stop watching now. You are the product. For the rest of us, the investors, the analysts, the cynics, it is time to look at the balance sheet. Because if you strip away the tears in the slow-motion goal celebrations, you realize that what is happening in North Wales is not a miracle. It is a business case study. Wrexham AFC is not a football club. Not anymore. It is a vertically integrated media production company that happens to play 90 minutes of sports on the weekend to generate content for Season 4. Reynolds and Rob McElhenney didn't buy a football team, they bought undervalued intellectual property. They looked at a distressed asset in a distressed industry and realized that if you attach a global distribution network to it, you can decouple the revenue from the performance. While their rivals in League One are scraping by, selling advertising space to local scaffolding firms and regional plumbing merchants, Wrexham is selling inventory to United Airlines, HP, and Gatorade. This is not Ted Lasso. This is the weaponization of the attention economy. And today, we are going to audit the machine. To understand the anomaly, you must first understand the gravity of the lower leagues. In the third and fourth tiers of English football, financial gravity is oppressive. A club's commercial revenue is typically capped by its geography. A team like Crawley Town or Stevenage has a fan base within a 10-mile radius. Their sponsors are local businesses because nobody in Tokyo, Texas, or Toronto cares about them. Their revenue ceiling is concrete. Wrexham broke gravity. By creating a global hit TV show, they converted a localized provincial fan base into a global audience. They didn't just acquire viewers, they acquired eyes. And in the modern digital economy, attention is the only currency that matters. Let's look at the numbers from the 2023-24 financial year. They are staggering. Wrexham generated £19.7 million in commercial revenue alone. Pause for a second. Let that figure settle. £19.7 million. That is not just good for League Two, that is an economic absurdity. That figure is higher than the commercial revenue of 5 established Premier League clubs. It is higher than Luton Town. It is higher than Brentford. Wrexham generated this while playing in the 4th tier of the pyramid, against teams whose entire annual turnover is less than Ryan Reynolds' marketing budget. This is the flywheel effect. Most clubs sell community. Wrexham sells content. Because Welcome to Wrexham is streamed globally on Hulu and Disney Plus, the sponsor on the front of the shirt isn't just seen by 10,000 people in the stadium, it is seen by millions of households in the United States. This creates a distortion in the market. United Airlines isn't paying Wrexham a League One price, they are paying a global media asset price. When HP and Gatorade sign checks, they aren't sponsoring a football team, they are buying product placement in a reality TV show. This cash injection creates a virtuous cycle. The show creates attention. Attention attracts Fortune 500 sponsors. Sponsors provide cash flow that is 10x the league average. That cash buys players who are statistically too good for the division, like Paul Mullen or Elliot Lee. Those players guarantee promotion. Promotion creates better drama for the show, and the flywheel spins faster. While other chairmen are begging local car dealerships for £50,000, Wrexham is negotiating multi-million-dollar contracts with Silicon Valley. They are playing a completely different sport. But the genius of McReynolds, as the ownership duo is known, isn't just in the marketing. It is in the corporate structuring. When they acquired the club in 2021, the initial investment was negligible, roughly £2 million. In the world of sports mergers and acquisitions, M&A, that is a rounding error. It is the cost of a backup fullback in the championship. Today, the valuation of Wrexham AFC is estimated to be in the tens of millions. They have manufactured a 10x, perhaps even 20x return on equity in under 4 years. But growth is expensive. The club posted a $5.1 million loss in the last accounts. The wage bill is spiraling. The stadium, the racecourse ground, is crumbling and needs a massive capital expenditure project to rebuild the cop stand. In a normal club, this is where the owners have to dig into their own pockets. Ryan and Rob are rich, certainly, but they are not sovereign wealth fund rich. They are not Sheikh Mansour. They cannot burn cash indefinitely. So, in late 2023 and 2024, they executed a classic private equity maneuver: dilution. Instead of funding the losses solely from their own bank accounts, they sold a slice of the pie. They brought in the Allen family. These aren't just random investors. The Allen family previously sold a medical device company, Welch Allen, for over $2 billion. They are smart money. Through a new investment vehicle called Red Dragon Ventures, the Allen family injected capital and acquired a minority stake. Recent reports suggest a further capital raise of around £28.7 million. This is the valuation hack. Ryan and Rob bought low. They used their celebrity to hype the asset to the moon, and now they're selling equity at the new inflated valuation to fund the infrastructure. They're essentially using other people's money to build their empire while retaining control in the face of the brand. This isn't charity. This isn't community stewardship. This is hard-nosed Wall Street-style venture capitalism applied to a Welsh football team. However, every bubble has a needle, and Wrexham's needle has a name: the cancellation risk. We call this the Truman Show problem. Wrexham's business model is dangerously over-indexed on one specific variable: the continued success of the documentary. If you analyze the revenue mix, it is terrifyingly unbalanced. According to the latest accounts, 74% of the club's income comes from commercial sources. This is the highest dependency ratio in British football. For comparison, a healthy, sustainable club relies on a balanced tripod: match day income, tickets, broadcast rights, TV, and commercial deals. Wrexham is standing on one leg, and that leg is Hollywood. What happens if season 5 flops? What happens if the ratings drop and Disney cancels the show? What happens if the narrative gets stale and the American audience moves on to the next trend? If the cameras turn off, the attention economy collapses overnight. United Airlines isn't sponsoring Wrexham because they care about the cultural heritage of North Wales. They're sponsoring the show. If the show ends, the sponsorship value plummets. If that revenue stream dries up, Wrexham is left with a Premier League wage bill and a League One income. That is a recipe for immediate, catastrophic administration. They've built a skyscraper on a foundation of television ratings. As long as the show is a hit, they are invincible. But the moment the audience gets bored, the club faces an existential crisis that no amount of Hollywood charm can fix. The entire valuation is tied to the script, not the stadium. But let's assume the show goes on. Let's assume the flywheel keeps spinning. This brings us to the terrifying competitive advantage Wrexham has as they climb the leagues. It is called the PSR advantage. The Premier League and the EFL are governed by Profit and Sustainability Rules, PSR. Put simply, you are limited in how much you can lose. In the lower leagues, the rules are even stricter. The SCMP, Salary Cost Management Protocol, limits your spending on wages to a percentage of your turnover. Most clubs in League One and the Championship are handcuffed by this rule. They want to spend more to get promoted, but their revenue is too low. They're stuck in purgatory. Wrexham has a cheat code. Because their commercial revenue is artificially inflated by the documentary, remember that $19.7 million? Their revenue ceiling is sky high. Because they earn more than anyone else, they are legally allowed to spend more than anyone else on wages without breaking a single rule. They don't need to cheat. They don't need secret contracts like Manchester City is accused of. They don't need offshore accounts. Their massive global income allows them to outspend traditionally bigger clubs like Sheffield United, Sunderland, or Leeds, simply because the rulebook ties spending power to income. They can pay a striker £10,000 a week in a league where the average is £2,000, and the regulator can't touch them. This is the ultimate endgame. Wrexham isn't just trying to survive, they are engineered to destroy the financial parity of the lower leagues. They are a Premier League commercial operation currently bullying its way through the EFL. So, when you see Ryan Reynolds crying in the stands or Rob McElhenney hugging a fan, don't be fooled. It might be genuine emotion, but it is also excellent B-roll footage for the next episode. Wrexham AFC has rewritten the rulebook of sports ownership. They proved that in 2024, the size of your stadium matters less than the size of your streaming deal. The rest of the league thinks they're playing against a football team. They aren't. They are playing against a media conglomerate. And in the game of capitalism, the one with the biggest revenue stream always wins. The show must go on, because if it stops, the whole thing goes bankrupt.